Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the Path of Exile 2, last of the Druids announcement stream. I am sponsored for this. Shout out to Grinding Gear Games for that, but you all know I'd be watching it anyways. Today we're going to find out about the Druids, as well as whatever the new expansion is next week. This will be an hour-long sponsor, and I'm excited to see what they got. So let's get into it, chat. Here we go.
Hi. I'm Jonathan Rogers,
Hi,
Game
John.
Director on Path of Exile 2.
Howdy.
And welcome to GGG Live.
Hello.
Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal for what's coming next for Path of Exile 2.
Great.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Verdant Wilds dodge roll effect by following the instructions below. Now today, it's finally time to show off a new class that we know everyone in the community's been waiting for.
Very true.
So let's roll the trailer for Path of Exile 2, The Last of the Druids.
Great. Here we go. Oh my God. Caked up.
Well, well. What have we got here then?
You lost, fella?
Hey, we're talking to you.
I asked you a question.
Oh no, it's a furry.
What's wrong with him?
He's lost his bloody mind.
Oh shit, look at that bear. A trample. Okay, we got like a werewolf lead. Wait. Oh shit, we get pets? Let's go. What? There's a dragon form? Scalies, congratulations.
I will find you, Eve.
He's gonna find evil. Okay.
Now, as you can see, the Druid is a shape-shifting elemental spellcaster. After his fellow Druids were destroyed by the King in the Mists, the Druid lost his humanity in the forests of Ogham, where he wandered for years as a beast. Now, finally reawakened, he's determined to find his lost wife and regain his humanity. The Druid has been one of the hardest classes for us to design. As well as having human spells, he has 3 animal forms, and we wanted to make sure that there were interesting combos between all of them. The Druid is our first hybrid strength and intelligence class. That means he needs to have the ability to use spells and attacks.
Oh wow.
As a human, the Druid typically uses magical staves to harness the powers of the earth and the natural world. One of the first skills you will learn is the ability to create small volcanoes from the earth. This skill spits out balls of magma at your enemies, and will continue to do so for some time. While the volcano is active, turn into an animal and wade into melee range. Many of the skills you use as a human last for a significant period of time, giving you a good chance to turn into an animal and rage out. But how do you turn into an animal, you may ask? Well, the answer is a new weapon type that Druids use, animal talismans. When you equip an animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the talisman to represent. Depending on what you choose, you'll be given that animal's basic attack as a new skill to equip. For a bear, that's Maul. To turn into a bear, simply use the skill. Your character will instantly transform into a bear and attack. If you want to change back to a human, just cast a spell. You will instantly swap back and cast it. We wanted to make sure that swapping between forms was seamless and immediate. Changing forms should be something that you do without even thinking about it all the time in battle. In order to allow for hybrid melee and caster gameplay, most of the skills you use in your human form last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The volcano we used earlier will emit more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's furious slam.
Nice.
While in bear form, many of your abilities use rage. There are a lot of ways to generate rage, but the easiest one is simply smash your enemies with Maul. Once you see the runes on your back glowing, it means you have enough rage to do a much more devastating version of your Furious Slam.
Okay.
Your bear form can also go on a rampage, stomping the ground as you demolish your foes. The more rage you have, the longer the rampage lasts, and doing it over a volcano makes it even better. As you consume rage, your bear form will generate endurance charges, and these can be used with skills like Ferocious Roar. Ferocious Roar is a war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor. The more endurance charges you have when you use it, the more empowered attacks you will gain.
Okay.
But Ferocious Roar has another special feature too. It's a meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as a bear. Use the Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies explode.
That's nice.
Or use Seismic Cry to stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do.
That's pretty fun.
You can even use it with Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the fire god Cow. Ever wondered what the Karui god of war would look like if he was a bear? Well, wait no longer.
That seems
Finally, build up
strong.
enough rage and you can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of fire around you for some time,
Holy
while
crap.
generating even more rage to power your other abilities. A true bear apocalypse. Now the bear is known for being a slower and more lumbering animal, with slower attacks and heavy slams. But what if you want to turn into something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the
Jonathan,
Druid,
you said
wolf
that
form.
in a way that
For the wolf form, we wanted to go fast and furious. Even just the wolf's basic attack will leap forward and rake his foes.
that's a little
After
sus.
attacking, the wolf stands up on two legs, but after running for a short time, he goes back on all fours, allowing to move more quickly between packs of enemies. The wolf has a lot of cold attacks based on his association with the moon, and the first of these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place.
He's not doing very
After
much
they're
damage
frozen,
to that
use your
rare.
basic rake attack to knock shards of ice off your enemies.
I'm a little
which
worried,
land on the ground
actually.
nearby and explode. If you want to get into battle quickly, you can use your Pounce attack. This skill leaps at a target and applies a mark to them. Killing the marked enemy will summon a wolf minion to your side, allowing them to fight with you. Mark and kill as many enemies as you can to build up a sizable pack. While an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage the more wolves you have. So make sure you keep your pack strong.
Okay.
Now, one problem you might run into is your wolf pack dying in boss fights. You often don't have any enemies that you can mark and kill in order to regenerate your pack. To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash jumps backwards and does a vicious double slash. Any marks on your target explode and triggers their abilities. This allows
Okay.
you to pounce to mark an enemy and then summon a wolf even without killing it. Cross Slash also has another feature though. Remember those ice fragments from before? Well, Cross Slash will propel any ice shards on the ground towards its central target. First, freeze your enemies with Lunar Assault. Then rake them to create as
Is
many
he gonna
ice
kill the
fragments as you
boss
can.
today?
Then follow up with Cross Slash to generate a field of
I didn't
icy
realize I was
explosions
watching
to obliterate
Quinn's
your
stream.
enemies. If they're still alive after that, your pack of wolves can finish them off.
Ah, there we go.
Just like with the bear's raw skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes, Pounce is also a meta gem that you can socket mark skills from other classes into. So for example, you might want to try adding Freezing Mark from the Monk to Pounce. After pouncing at an enemy, Cross Slash to explode the mark and gain extra cold damage for a time.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
wolf
that was
has
so
many
much
other ways
damage.
to go all in on cold though. Using the Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any slam, while buffing your pack of wolves as well. You can also use it to freeze enemies that are close to being frozen, making it much faster to use your other combos. Finally, the wolf also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform into an Arctic werewolf with Lunar Blessing. In this form, you move and attack more quickly and deal extra cold damage. Consuming Rage will extend the duration of your Arctic wolf form, so you could try a hybrid bear and wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full effect.
Okay, there's some damage. Ooh, okay.
Alright, let's talk about the third form available to the Druid, and I think it's a cool one. The Wyvern. The Wyvern has a number of long-range
You mean
breath
Wyvern?
abilities. But that doesn't mean you can't get into melee range when you want to. The basic attack of the Wyvern is Rend.
Wyvern?
Jump forward into combat and slash your enemies with your lethal talons. If they're close to being stunned, you can blow them off balance with a blast from your wings, causing an explosion of damage. After the battle though, it's time to feed. Devour the corpses of monsters to create power charges, and this is when the Wyvern's abilities really come online. When using Rend, you can consume a power charge to charge up your wings with lightning.
This actually
Not only
looks
does it do a
sick.
bunch of damage, but it allows you to turn this melee skill into a much larger AoE attack. Once your wings are charged, your wing blast will also do lightning explosions for even more damage. If your enemies are close to death, no need to wait for them to actually die. When you see this blue marker, just devour them alive. Fresh meat is much tastier after all. Alright, so those are some melee options, but how about range? Well, you wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after all. Rolling Magma is the first of the Wyvern's breath attacks. Spit balls of fire that bounce along the ground. These balls will trigger volcanoes as well, so it's a good idea to cast one as a human right before you start spitting. But that's not all you can spit. You have something a little nastier in that gullet of yours. Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them easier to ignite.
Jonathan's got little
If you have power
sass.
charges though, plant your wings in the ground and vomit a barrage of lightning-infused projectiles. The more power charges you have, the
He's got
longer
little
you can do
sass.
this for. But make sure you keep your foes at range. You're vulnerable to melee attacks while channeling this skill. In order to help with that, let's take a quick diversion back to some of your human abilities. As a Druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature to create entangling vines to slow down your enemies. Another of nature's punishments is the thunderstorm. Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky, and will also make your enemies wet. Why is that useful? Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock. Use it with lightning damage from your Wyvern form to enhance your damage. Making things
Guys,
wet also makes
I'm
them
gonna
easier to
say
freeze,
it.
so it works nicely with your
I'm
wolf
sorry
form as
that
well.
I'm sponsored,
And you know what else likes
and
water?
I'm saying this.
Plants.
Jonathan seems
Water
fucking
your plants
horny.
to give them
Like, what are we
various extra
doing?
abilities. Use Lightning Storm with Entangle to make them last longer, and attach more vines to each enemy, slowing them further. Summon Thrashing Vines to slam at your enemies for a time. Any that are created in water will be larger and deal more damage. Now then, with our enemies sufficiently subdued with our plants, time to really lay into them with our lightning-infused barrage. Now, this last Wyvern ability is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it. Use Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of fire on your enemies. You have wings, so we have to take full advantage of them after all. So fly around and burn in it.
God, that looks cool.
Now there are a few other skills we didn't cover, but there's one in particular that I think will open up a lot of builds. Spell Totems. Spell Totems are meta gems that let you create a totem that will automatically cast any spell in the game for a time. In order to create one, you will need to spend 3 endurance or 3 power charges.
Yeah.
You could use them to throw fireballs, summon comets, or shower the area in lightning. Really, the options are kind of endless. Your bear form can easily generate endurance charges by consuming rage, and your wyvern form can easily create power
Now
charges
that
by
was
eating
some
corpses.
damage right there. Holy
So it's pretty
shit.
easy for the druid to get the charges needed, but they're also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these. Now, of course, along with a new class comes a bunch of new support gems. We've added over 30 new supports throughout the game, but I'll show you a few of the cooler ones here. Fan the Flames can be added to any wind skill to spread fire from one ignited enemy to the other enemies behind them. It's great for the Wyvern's Wing Blast. But you can also use it on many other classes with wind skills, like the Twisters on the Huntress, or the Monk's Staggering Palm Projectiles. Accelerated Growth causes extra explosive plants to erupt from the ground whenever you grow plants with rain. And Advancing Storm changes storm skills like your Thunderstorm or Tornado to move across the battlefield.
Hell yeah.
It's great for watering plants en masse, or to turn tornadoes into a real disaster by sucking up multiple ground effects as they travel along. And the sorceress might like to use it with Firestorm as well. Echoing Cry causes your Warcry skills to echo. They will repeat a couple more times with a delay after you use them, giving you more empowered attacks. Use it for the Druid's animal form Warcries, or on the Warrior for a nice power boost.
Dude, every once in a while I
Grounding
just
shocks
forget that
causes
the
monsters
warrior
you shock
exists.
to turn into living Tesla coils, arcing lightning to nearby
And
enemies.
PoE too.
You could use it with your empowered wings for an extra damage boost, but it's also great with any other shocking skill. Try it out with Lightning Spear. It obviously needed more AoE clear. There's a whole pile more, but we'll leave those for you to discover.
Why is everyone spamming log out?
Now with a new class comes new ascendancy classes. The Druid will have 2 options for now, with a third being released later.
Okay.
The first class is the Shaman. The Shaman channels nature's elemental fury and can harness rage as a spellcaster, unifying his animalistic and magical tendencies. By allocating Druidic Champion, you gain spell damage the angrier you are, and with Furious Wellspring, you generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower your spells.
Whoa.
With the knowledge of the Asmerian Magi, the Shaman can harness untapped power from runes and idols. After allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have extra mods only available to the Shaman. These new mods unlock countless new possibilities for enhancing your build. You can also allocate Bringer of the
Let's go.
Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster. After dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you, destroying
Holy
all
crap.
who face nature's fury. There are other abilities for the Shaman.
That's
but I'll
cool.
just show a few from each class for now. The other Druid ascendancy is the Oracle. The Oracle perfected the power of foresight and utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage. When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage. And with Converging Paths, at a critical moment in battle when a monster is vulnerable to freeze, stun, or electrocution, the Oracle can use Moment of Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future, and then merge it with the current timeline, allowing him to deal damage to both. And one of my favorites, when you first become an Oracle, you'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree. By allocating the Unseen Path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you. For example, self-sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing the spirit costs, with the trade-off of making your reservation skills cost more spirit. Or Corruption Endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death. Both the Druid Ascendancies offer interesting and unique ways to gain modifiers that no other classes can get, so we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these.
That's
Now
fucking
there are unique
crazy.
talismans for the Druid to use as well. We won't spoil all of them, but this one was particularly cool. Fury of the King turns your bear form into a fire demon,
Yo!
converting most of your damage to fire. As a demon, you can also use Molten Crash, a jumping slam attack that leaves fissures around you. This unique also continuously grants glory, allowing you to use your ultimate abilities more easily. Now, of course, the Druid isn't the only thing we're adding to 040. We still have a bunch more to show. With every new release, we create a new league with new mechanics, new Pinnacle bosses,
shit.
and with a new story to tell. And this time is no exception. So let's roll the trailer for the fate of the Vaal.
Oh boy. Oh, Fate of the Vaal.
Palace of Queen
Is it Zeri gonna be here?
It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn. The temple has many functions, and with it, a chance to save the Vaal, a gateway through time. Travel into the past, again and again. Alter the temple, uncover its secrets.
It looks like that Zeri's the final boss.
You will be rewarded for your sacrifice. And somewhere in the deepest chamber, my queen I beg of you, hear me. The beast cannot give you what you desire.
You may have studied it, Doriani, but you do not know it like I do. It adores me.
Whoa! She's caked up!
Come now, give unto me your desire. At last, fulfill my soul.
God damn, okay.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts,
Hi, Mark.
Game Director on Path of Exile. In the Fate of the Vaal League, you will find remnants of the ancient Vaal civilization scattered throughout Rayclast. They seem to attract nearby creatures and affect them strangely. After killing them, the remnant appears to gain some amount of power, but not enough to fully activate it. It seems you will need to find 5 more of these arcane devices, and sacrifice the monsters you find there to fully activate one. But things don't always go to plan. These devices are old, and sometimes infected by corruption. Twisted versions of ancient Vaal may emerge, and sometimes even stronger foes. On fully activating one of the devices, you finally discover its true purpose. A portal opens and takes you deep underground to a lost temple, once the home of Atziri, Queen of the Vaal. What treasures could still be inside? I think you're gonna want to find out. In front of the entrance is a console of some kind, and on activating it, you can see a map of the temple. Atziri's personal chambers are on the far side, but how could anyone get there? There are disconnected rooms, and the layout doesn't seem to make sense. And that's when you realize the purpose of the ancient devices scattered through Rayclast. The temple is powered by sacrifice, and this energy can be used to modify the very structure of the temple itself. Each time you run the temple, you will be given 6 rooms that you can place, allowing you to craft your own dungeon to explore. Place paths to link up the dungeon, and place rooms beside them full of precious loot. After you are happy with your choices, open the temple and discover the results of your efforts. Each room contains different challenges along with its rewards. On entering a room, the doors will slam shut behind you, and you will need to face the encounter within. But choose wisely. It's important where you place the rooms to get maximum returns. For example, when placing a commander, you could just place it anywhere along an existing path, but a much better strategy is to place it next to a garrison of troops for him to command.
Oh.
With better leadership, the garrison will level up, making the monsters harder, but also more rewarding. Different rooms have different requirements for leveling up. For example, if you want to fully level up a smithy, you will need to supply it with golems from an adjacent golem works, and hook up a generator to the power network to supply it with power. After doing so, the golems will be powered up, making them much more dangerous. You don't need to memorize what interacts with what. When selecting a room, you will be shown the locations that will make other rooms level up, and exactly what effect it will have on the temple.
So it looks
After
like
running the temple, a few of the rooms will destabilize and be removed. It will be up to you to rebuild the temple, adding 6 more rooms each time you come back.
Okay.
Making the temple larger and larger and larger. So, that's the basic functionality of the temple.
Okay.
But there is a lot more. Once Doriani finds out about your travels to Lera Vaal, he will attempt to persuade you to take on a new mission. The temple entrance contains a prototype of the time portal device. It will be able to take you back in time, but only to one specific point, right before Atziri triggered the cataclysm that destroyed the Vaal. He requests that you go back and attempt to stop Atziri to prevent the Vaal from ever being destroyed.
Yo, that's a sick animation. That's cool as hell.
Atziri is on the far side of the temple, so you will need to expand the temple significantly to get to her. And even worse, her chambers can only be unlocked by a room that isn't currently accessible to you. In order to deal with that, you are going to need to visit the architect of the temple. To get to him, you will need to place path rooms. But while doing so, you will probably want to exploit some of the Vaal technology only available in the past.
Is he like a sub-boss?
Once you can travel into the past, a whole new set of rooms are available to you, and they have some pretty insane rewards. At level 1, the corruption chamber can be used to corrupt a single item. But placing it next to a thaumaturge to run the place, and a sacrificial chamber to provide soul energy, you'll be able to level it up. And it's worth it. Because once you get the room to level 3, there are some very nice rewards to be had. In a level 3 corruption chamber, you will find this mysterious device. It has a slot to place an item, and it only accepts items that are already corrupted.
Oh.
What will happen to them? Well, normally once an item is corrupted, you can't modify it any further. But this device allows you to corrupt your item a second time, adding another enchantment. This has the capability to craft some very powerful items indeed.
Oh.
But be warned, the Vaal are all about taking risks in the pursuit of power. There is a 50% chance that the item will be destroyed.
It's 50-50?
Each room has its own interesting mechanics and rewards when it levels up. Many of them contain bosses to fight, special drops, and in many cases, new crafting opportunities.
Oh, Vaal gems.
For example, a level 3 alchemy lab has a nasty Vaal construct to fight, but if you can defeat it, you can find new corrupted soul cores.
Wait, what is...
Like Guatalitzi's Thesis, which on boots allows you to sacrifice your life to run faster. Or Sitaqualotl's Thesis, which on gloves will revive one of your minions whenever an offering expires.
Whoa.
Get a sacrificial chamber to level 3, and you will need to face a highborn priest of sacrifice. Defeat him to be able to further corrupt a Vaal unique, modifying it in unpredictable ways. One of the mods of this unique will be removed and replaced with another random mod.
That's an insane animation.
For example, this Soul Mantle. It gives you an additional totem, but lowers your totem's life and curses you when they die. By using the machine, this could result in a terrible item if you remove the good mod, but also some amazing items if you replace the downside.
Jesus.
Now, one extra thing to mention about these Vaal crafting machines. You don't have to take the items you want to craft into the temple. If you don't have the item you want to craft with you at the time, then clicking this button will allow you to create a currency item instead, allowing you to do the craft later or trade it if you want.
Nice.
Now, there are all sorts of interesting rooms you can find in the temple, but the last one I want to show you today is the Flesh Surgeon.
Yeah, okay.
A Vaal Flesh Surgeon can be leveled up by placing him next to a high-level synth flesh lab. But be careful. The Flesh Surgeon has some rather unpleasant experiments in his personal lab. Afterwards, you might notice the surgery table just sitting there. The Vaal are great at crafting items. Why not do some crafting on yourself? After laying down, you'll be asked which limb you'd like to replace. Left arm, perhaps your right leg. Each limb can get a different set of random bonuses, so choose wisely. After getting up from the table, try out your new limb. It seems to work fine, and even perform better than your normal one. Now, there is just one thing with replacing body parts. If you die and are resurrected, your body will return to its natural state.
What?
You might need to return to the Vaal Surgeons if you want another robot arm, and maybe get a better one
that's
next
messed
time.
up.
Some rooms, like the Commander, can give you a new type of reward. Medallions that can be used to manipulate the temple in other ways. Using a Quiperlatal's medallion
A
will
what?
allow you to artificially boost a room, even if it doesn't meet the normal requirements to level up.
Can you get it to rank 4?
And a Huatalotli's medallion
Okay,
will
stop
stop
with the
rooms
names,
from
Mark.
destabilizing when you complete a temple, allowing you to guarantee getting a reward a second time. Great if you want to stock up on double corrupts. Now, with all that aside, time to face the Architect, and you will be in for a fight.
Jeez.
Once defeated, you will find another console that can be used to modify the temple. But this one is special. It allows you to place new types of rooms with specific rewards. There are rooms with specific uniques, special runes, and currency. But also a few other, more niche crafting experiments. Like this one, that can extract the socket balls back out of an item, at the cost of destroying it.
Oh. It's useful.
Now, something really important is every league we release a significant amount of content for the endgame. In order to make sure that the Fate of the Vaal works well for late game players, we've added many mechanics to make sure that you can scale the difficulty and rewards to match.
Getting some rooms to level 3 adds extra mods to the entire dungeon, and these stack with each other. So in Endgame, when you can get some really big temples, you can generate a challenge that can even match the strongest of characters.
Huh.
We also start to introduce ways to store up energy for the temple, allowing you to save up many runs so you can do them later at your leisure,
Good.
and not
I like
interrupt
that.
your mapping too often. Now in each league, it's important that we have a new Pinnacle boss to test your character's might. In the Fate of the Vaal, you will get to face Exile while she was
What
at the
the heck?
peak of her power.
What is this?
One of the rewards you will gain by defeating the Architect is the ability to place the Royal Access Chamber. Once connected to your temple, you can visit it to finally reach the Queen of the Vaal herself. This fight takes place at a critical moment in history, right as Exile communes with the beast's power and takes her true corrupted form.
Man, her corrupted
Now,
form gives
we're
her...
not going to show you the whole fight, but we will tempt you with one of the rewards. This is Exile's rule. This staff gives additional levels to all of your corrupted gems and lets you trade life for extra
Jesus.
damage. But in addition to that, while using the staff, mirrors of refraction will constantly appear on the battlefield. Any projectile you fire at these will split into a nova, and they can chain from one to the other.
So, that's the Fate of the Vaal League. But we are also bringing the previous league, Rise of the Abyssal, into the core game,
Nice.
along with a few changes.
Now, for those of you who haven't seen what happens when a league is over, it's important to understand that you will not be seeing
I loved
abysses in
Abyss.
every
Abyss
area
was so
anymore.
fun.
Rise of the Abyssal is now one of the league mechanics that can show up randomly in Endgame. If you want to specialize in running abysses, there is now a tablet that will allow you to add them to any map you run. You can also craft the
Great.
tablet to add abyss-specific mods to enhance how they function. Now that Abyss is core, it also needs its own Atlas tree.
Yeah, it does.
You can gain your first points by completing an Abyss. But there are more available for doing depths and killing certain bosses. And there are a bunch of different options. You might just want more monsters and bosses. But you can also make finishing an Abyss have a chance to overrun a nearby map with the Abyssal. Or make your Waystone modifiers also apply to Abyssal depths. You could specialize in the interaction with other leagues, or specialize in a specific Abyssal faction.
Great.
One of the important elements that we have heard loud and clear is that needing to do Abyss crafting on Waystones is quite annoying.
Yes.
So, we have removed that.
Okay.
In fact, we have removed instilling from Waystones as well. This mechanic felt mandatory on maps because it boosted the value of all other content,
Is there
but it was both annoying to do and resulted in a lot of visual clutter.
a new thing?
Instead, we are bringing back some of that power on tablets, which you don't need to craft nearly as often, since they last for 10 maps each. Once you defeat the Arbiter of Ash, you will be able to upgrade tablets to a rare with 4 mods using regular currency. Even this isn't enough to fully bring back the power you could have gotten from instilling, so we have also buffed the bonuses that tablets give. Going forward, we're not going to be adding any more crafting directly to Waystones outside of the basic currency, because it adds too much micromanagement.
Okay.
But on that note, Fate of the Vaal does bring the ability to corrupt your tablets, hoping to get one of many different random outcomes. Now, with regard to Delirium Fog, even though you shouldn't have to have it on every map anymore, we still did want to make it less visually annoying. Delirium Fog has been toned down significantly, so you won't feel like you're just playing in a sea of grey. Another big source of problems in the endgame is the feeling of getting overwhelmed with monsters. In 031, we reduced the number of monsters in early endgame in order to help with this, but still scaled up the number of monsters to previous levels by the time you got to tier 15. Well, after letting this simmer for a while, we are still getting this kind of feedback. So we are no longer going to scale up the number of monsters you go as you get deeper into the endgame. Instead, we are scaling up the difficulty and rewards by the same amount. So to be clear, instead of increasing the number of monsters by 40%, they will instead drop 40% more items, grant 40% more experience, and have 40% more life, in addition to all the normal scaling they get due to being higher level. This only applies to regular monsters, not bosses.
Am I okay with that? I don't know.
Also reduced
Chad, how do I feel? Tell me how to
that
feel.
monsters can get sometimes, which also helps a lot with this. Now, we did have a large amount of content for endgame planned for 040, but unfortunately we just didn't get time to finish it. The scope was a bit too large, and so we'll need to wait until 050 for that.
Okay.
But rest assured, there will be a ton of upgrades for the existing leagues, as well as new Pinnacle bosses, and a significant overhaul to the Atlas passive tree coming soon. Now, another problem that becomes a much bigger issue in the endgame is game performance.
Oh!
And we have done a lot of work here.
Wow!
The primary issue is CPU load. And to address that, a lot of things have been optimized. And we have done a lot of work to take advantage of more of your CPU cores. You should see frame rates of at least 25% higher, and a lot less bad frame spikes during gameplay.
Let's
it
go!
It does make quite a big difference, especially on consoles.
Let's go!
A lot more work in this area is ongoing, and you will continue to see performance improvements over the next few months. Of course, another important area is game balance, and we have made a lot of changes. Now, most of these we will save for the patch notes, but I'll do a quick summary of some of the numbers. As well as adding 11 new unique items, we have rebalanced dozens of others that are not currently used very often.
Okay.
We've also done a pass over lineage supports. 21 of them have been rebalanced.
Good.
As well as adding 9 more.
They weren't that strong.
Alongside the 2 new Druid ascendancies,
apart from a handful of
we have
them.
made balance changes to almost all the others, with some of them getting a grander rebalance, such as the Smith of Katava. Alongside the 20 plus new Druid skills, we've also rebalanced 90 other active skills across all the different classes. And to top it all off, there are also over 250 new passive skills added to the passive tree. These changes should go a long way to increase the viability of many more skills, uniques, and overall build variety that can tackle our most challenging content. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new supporter packs.
What does that mean?
Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Precursor and Kalgurin packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Precursor series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
What? Who the fuck is that?
First up, the Marble Statue character effect. Once you finally stay still for a moment, a podium rises up out of the ground to immortalize you, turning your skin to marble.
That's
When you
kind of
next
cool.
move, the stone crumbles around you. The precursors had mastery over gravity manipulation. So too can you, now with the Gravity Well portal.
Okay, I like that portal.
Witness the power of its pull as you approach it. Draw in enemies with your own gravitational pull with the Awakened Precursor Armor set.
Yo, that looks sick.
The Precursors designed and built many mysterious ancient beings.
I'm
This
alright.
one used to serve as a
I'm alright.
scout that would patrol and tase intruders.
I'm alright with that one.
Why?
Ah! What's happening? Oh.
Relic of the Precursors map device
Was that
is a
on me,
mysterious
Chad?
machine that sits atop ancient colossal statues. It keeps track of the number
feel
of
like
charges
Twitch just
consumed
died.
on your Precursor tablet
Oh, no.
used in the device. The Kalguran Pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Kalgurans had astounding skill in astronomy, being able to track cosmic events with absolute precision. Harnessing that skill, with the Astronomer's Level Up effect equipped, you too can now see exactly how long it took you to level up as it outputs the time in chat.
Oh, that's awesome.
The time taken to reach your last 3 levels is also displayed on the item, so you can link it when you have a time you're proud of. Crush unique enemies by unleashing the wrath of the lost Kalguran fleet, led formerly by Captain Heartland himself.
I'm definitely gonna get these.
A Kalguran seafarer
I'm a sucker
needs
for this.
armor fit for the treacherous seas of Rayclast. This set has you covered with the classic tricorn and, of course, a peg leg. The Lost Treasure weapon skins top off your appearance of a true raider of the seas. These gilded weapons can be applied
Oh,
to
that's a
wands,
cool hammer.
two-hand maces, and shields. After a long day of plundering loot, retreat to the Kraken's Cove hideout, a home of some of the most deadly, ocean-dwelling creatures in Rayclast. Many ships have met their demise here. What better to accompany you in Kraken's Cove than a kraken itself?
Ew.
Replace your stash with a dormant kraken, waiting for its prey. As you approach, it will awaken and terrify both you and any guests in your hideout. Alongside this, an extra stash skin item will be granted to you, and when placed, will automatically open to any stash tab set with the currency affinity, to help having to navigate through your tabs.
Oh.
Additionally,
helpful.
any microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1.
Thank you very much for all your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, at 11 AM NZ time, we'll post the patch notes.
That's good.
With release at the
Good
end of next
updates.
week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release. Keep an eye on the news. Thanks
Chat,
for joining us
if
today
you're gonna buy
and
those,
checking out
click
our
the link
latest
down below.
developments. We're looking forward to playing alongside our fellow shapeshifting exiles, all
Or the
while
link in
uncovering
chat.
lost Vaal secrets by doing some dungeon crafting. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Huge shout out to GGG, by the way, for sponsoring us to watch this. We got another 15 minutes of the Q&A, and then we'll be swapping off to do a different sponsored stream. But if you are curious, click the link down below or exclamation
I am
point.
your host, Ziggy D, and today we're going to be touching on the design of the Druid
PoE
and the
2
fate
in
of the Vaal
chat?
League while we gather some community questions. Then we'll deep dive into endgame, balance, and other game design topics. I am, of course, joined by game directors Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts. How you guys going today?
Oh, very good. I mean, you know, it's been a great one to work on this one. Like, I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's definitely great to see you again. And it feels like it's only been like no time at all since the last time you were here with the PoE1 release.
It feels like only several weeks, and that's pretty accurate.
yeah.
We get to see you twice as often now, so that's fun.
Yeah, I'm around every 2 months or so now, roughly. It's great. I love it. Let's keep going. So I do have to open with this, though. Is like Druid looked a little bit weak, I think, in the demonstration demonstration video today.
Yeah, I think one of the issues that we have is like we're so concentrating on like just demonstrating how the mechanics work that we sort of forget to be like, okay, let's actually make sure the damage numbers that we're doing on this like test character we're filming here are actually like in line with what people actually normally expect. So yeah, there's just a few things there that we probably should have caught and made a little stronger there. But yeah, when you actually play it, it's certainly from the alpha feedback incredibly powerful. Like
Yes.
you know, the like, you know, we were seeing some people say, oh, you know, the wolf looks weak or whatever. Well, I can assure you that on alpha there's a bunch of people saying the wolf is super OP. So you know, it just comes down to the things you go through in order to demonstrate stuff.
I think we probably going to be worthwhile. We make some videos showing a bit more of the less demonstratey side and get them posted and stuff this week. Because honestly, you can just play it literally right now, and it's
Yeah, I've definitely been playing and recording a bit myself, because I was like, when I first watched it as well, the draft, I was thinking, it's like, I don't really get a feel for what it feels like to actually play it. There's good demonstration here of the mechanics, but yeah, I can understand how from your perspective it'd be pretty easy to be like, oh, we want to communicate how this cool thing works and this cool thing works.
There's a fine line there for sure. Where if you get too hectic, people are like, I don't even know what's going on. They're just looking at a ruckus. And then, in this case, the same. We went on a little too far on the other side of the line, was just a bit too slow. And as a result, yes, it can look a bit weak. But
I think we'll try and get some like raw Druid gameplay out to people to understand. I think particularly for this class, because of the shape-shifting stuff, it's so hard for us to. Normally, we can look at something and be like, oh, that's just a demonstration. We kind of know what it would look like at Endgame. But I think with the Druid, it's just so unusual. It's so different that it's actually hard to judge what it would feel like to even play it. And I'm happy for my hands on to say that like it's almost immediately like very smooth, the shape shifting of it, the movement of it, especially because like in your demonstration,
you guys gonna play Druid?
Dodge roll, sprint, that sort of thing as well, which makes a big difference.
I suppose one of the things we didn't really dwell on in the video as well is that we do actually have dodge roll. I mean, they're not actually rolls for the animals, but all the animals can like hop around and that kind of stuff. And that was honestly one of those things that was like
I don't know,
because initially we actually had it so when
I might play the Oracle. The Oracle
you would transfer
seems
them back
sick.
into a human, and the reason we did that is because it's really hard to make animations for animals that like actually work correctly. Like we actually thought it was impossible, but then when we actually put it on alpha, there was the kind of visceral reaction of I want to still be a bear, like while I'm hopping around. So we ended up having to like work out like how can we make this possible? How can we make it so that you can actually do the dodge rolling as an animal? And that sort of ended up being pretty good. I would say.
And this was like clearly the hardest class to design so far, and it took a bit longer. Like I think you were originally hoping to bring it out in a previous expansion.
Yeah, quite a while ago. But the thing is with it is that it's kind of like designing 4 classes in one, because not only do you have the situation where like obviously we want to have synergy between skills and stuff like that, and we can like look at that in a normal class and work out what those might be. But with this class, people want to be able to play just as a bear or just as a wolf, as well as people who want to play like dual with a human and a wolf, or people who just want to be a wolf and a bear, and like all the different combinations. So we had to kind of come up with a way for like each line needs to be self-sufficient and that it's got all the tools that you need, but at the same time you have to not have it so it feels like there's just duplication between them. Like, oh, like this is just the same thing as what a bear has, but you are a wolf instead. So we kind of have to like, it's like you need all the tools and yet you also need to have them feel different, and that just made it really, really tricky to get all the things right with it. And then it didn't also help that since the last time we were working on the Druid, way back when we showed it off in Gamescom 2023, we had WSD, and that is a whole other complication because like how can we make that work with the animal forms? It's like a whole thing. Like I'll tell you the Wyvern, for example. Like we had a hell of a time making it so that you could do the ranged attacks because you need to be able to walk while you're doing it. The Wyvern's sitting there with its arms like planted on the ground, like being able to walk while also spinning it. Yeah, it's like we went through so many iterations of that. So yeah, it was just a very tricky class overall, like just crazy.
I remember seeing some very goofy looking like Wyvern like months and months ago. Yeah, you were like trying to. This is not working. Right.
Like, well, I also remember like for a long time the wolf was just like a dancing dog. It was just like it looked really silly. And like man, the wolf as well. I mean, it was really hard to get right, and because one of the things we really wanted to avoid was I didn't want that too much of that whole like man in a wolf suit vibe. Yes. Like I wanted to actually.
Have you guys seen that TikTok of the dog dancing?
I think with the bear and the wyvern's way easier.
That reminds me of the wolf dancing.
It's like it's really hard not to just go back into that. So we had a lot of questions about like what even the locomotion was. How does it walk? Are we going to walk on 2 legs? Are we going to walk on 4? We ended up splitting the difference. You can do both, right? Like you get that when you're attacking and you can be upright walking on 2 legs. When you're walking, you run on 4, and you actually do get a speed boost while you're on 4 legs, like as a wolf, just just so after like 1 second of walking, you go down on 4 legs, you start moving a bit faster. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
An interesting thing there, I don't think is each form technically has a kind of passive benefit.
Right.
So obviously you got the running fast as a wolf. Can't remember exactly what the Wyvern ones were, but like for the bear, for example, because you're just a bit bigger, you know, a bit of a tank. You actually do get armor, and armor applies to elemental damage as a thing, and like, you know, there's a kind of, which is like honestly, unless you actually click the bear keyword, is like undescribed everywhere.
Well, it was even more than that, because I was just looking at it in game before. The bear has like passive endurance charge generation.
Yes, it does. From rage expenditure, it does.
I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. So we really wanted to make sure that each of the different forms had things that can benefit the other forms. So like, it was really tricky to think, like, what are resources that a bear can generate? What are the resources that a wolf can generate? What are the ones the wyvern can generate that the other ones can then use in order to kind of get that cross synergy? So that's kind of like
the fire demon actually looked really cool.
Part of the trickiness.
And that caught me by surprise as well, because like technically it's mentioned, but I never really fully understood the idea that you can swap between the forms, like human to animal and back. I figured that's what's going on here. But you can like leap in as a wolf and then immediately transform to a bear mid slam.
You absolutely can. So the thing with this is that you want to present a fantasy to someone as far as like what the UI is pushing you towards and all that sort of stuff. Like, there are going to be a lot of people.
I wonder if this is the 1440p thing.
They go all bear, right? But at the same time, we're unconstrained in the sense that you can pick all the other stuff, you can use it at the same time. So one talisman, like effectively when you pick on a talisman from like wolf, bear, or wyvern, what that's giving you is the default attack, right? That's what you're actually picking, and that's all it is, right? And that often will guide you, like what skills you're picking and so on, but you can just use with that same talisman as many different animal skills as you would like. That just means that you've got that sort of free-flowing, like, you know, trying out different stuff, sort of combo gameplay that we, like to try and get. So, obviously there will just be a lot of people who just pick one.
They announce anything big for the league?
That. There's a lot of experimentation to do there
in general.
Yeah, so you've tried to hit like making it so like people who just want like a simple straightforwards, like I just want to run out as bear and slam the ground, like that's certainly very possible there. But also you with this whole class you had the problem of how do we make like a spellcaster and a melee attacker that's shapeshifter as well. I mean, this class has got a bit of everything.
For sure.
How did you make all that kind of like work together and solve that build problem of like, how do you actually scale these things together in a way that just one thing isn't way better than everything else?
Right. Well, I mean, it's always tricky, and Mark's obviously the one who handles a lot of the balance stuff, but I can see even just from a design perspective, so I just throw over the fence all my horrible stuff, and then you're like, how the hell am I going to balance
I just got told the tracking won't be live till next week, so...
But effectively, like...
Just go to the normal side and buy it.
Spellcaster side. So one of the things we initially wanted with the spellcasting is a lot of it's like over time type effects that... so for example, with the volcano being the really obvious one, right? Like you can create this thing, and then you can turn into an animal and do other stuff at the same time. So we needed on the human side a lot of things that last for a long time. But the problem you then run into when you actually go to balance the thing is like, okay, well, if you've just got like 5 damage over time style spells, why not just cast all of them and then you don't have to ever do anything else, right? Like, so it's like that kind of stuff.
I don't know what I'll play.
Then you have to start thinking, okay, we want to make it so that you cast a long-term thing as a human, but then being an animal is going to augment that so that it improves it. So for example, with the tornado, it's got a similar mechanic to the little twisters that the hunters have, where ground effects can empower it with extra elemental stuff. And so then we're like, okay, well, if the animal forms are the ones that can create the ground effects, then that means that you're kind of like, you're going to want to do, like, to mix that with the tornado, you now have to have both the animal forms and the spellcaster stuff if you want to get all of that together. So it's just a lot of that thinking about how can an animal form aid a spell, how can a spell aid an animal form, like all the way through. And then, as I said, we throw it over the fence, and then Mark tries to work out what kind of numbers can actually make it
it's a web of infinite
Man, that has to be Twitch.
But that's also what's fun about the game and what all the things you can unlock and the crazy builds you can do. But I mean, like, this week's focus has been like, okay, we had all the, like, during our alpha testing and internal testing, we had like, there was the I want to be all forms going between, there was the I just want to be wolf, I just want to be bear, I just want to be a dragon, and now we're getting a lot more of I just want to cast nature plant skills and do plant stuff. And so it's like, okay, well, how do we make that work? Well, because they're quite long duration, so we're having a bunch of complexity with that as well. And it honestly just, it does just spiral into like, oh my God, there's 20 million variables here. But it's fun. And at the end of the day, as long as it is honestly fun to play, then honestly we're golden. So, you know, I would say we're pretty much there on almost everything with this class. I'd actually say we're a little bit more prepared than normal. We've had a lot of testing.
Yeah.
Despite, I mean, partly because it's been in the works for so long. But yeah, it's, I don't know, like ultimately pretty fun. I'd say there's still something, obviously there's still more to do. There's obviously always more to do. But yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of enjoyment. I saw yesterday, I was just like walking past someone's computer and, you know, someone was mentioning like, yeah, it's just fun placing 6 volcanoes and then just slamming on them. I was like, all right, sweet, you do you. Like, that's fine.
I was definitely enjoying obliterating bosses in bear form, like with dropping tornadoes, and there's the totem which you can summon in animal form.
Yep.
And then you're putting fishes down and they're exploding, and you're putting extra things on the ground and they're exploding. And there was definitely some boss deletion going on there.
Even just walking past the...
What's the league going to be?
It's
basically a Vaal league.
Going out, and then there's that plant support general. Like,
It's
putting the new...
kind of
being like, no, Zig, you don't get enough.
synthesis,
I do have to admit that I
kinda
did already get one thing. Let's say fixed.
Okay.
There was a thing that was like double generating rage. So I'm like, I don't know if this was intended.
Right.
And like, no, the designer said that's probably not intended. Thanks, Ziggy. I'm like,
I don't know. I
incursion and synthesis. Yeah, I guess.
Because I was like, no, that's fine.
this is a fish.
It made it to me, and I was like, no, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because it generates rage when you first slam, and then the fishes, every time they pulse, it generates rage. I'm like,
really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit, I didn't even know that.
Because like the totem's making it pulse, and that's generating rage.
Right.
I'm like, that doesn't
that's interesting.
seem-
That's
Look
very
at-
interesting.
look at-
Yeah.
It's fine.
I love that because that's like
Okay.
ridiculous.
Mark is just like,
it feels like
what
way
am I, a
too
joke
simple.
for
I'm
you?
like, this feels illegal, but that's like you gotta let a few things in there that
It's
feel
fine.
illegal.
It's doing what the skill says.
I may not have, maybe I didn't get enough. Okay, cool.
I don't know. They might have changed it. I'll find out afterwards. I just throw my opinion in there. I don't want to necessarily be like, you know, I try and make sure with a lot of these balanced discussions, it's not like, you know, I'm just an authority on the matter. I want to actually discuss these things through, because maybe it isn't actually fine, but, you know, my first instinct is like, yeah, like let it run wild. Like, what's the problem, you know? So
Yeah, you gotta.
we'll see what happens, but whatever. They don't know what the problem is, so don't worry. Oh, now they do. Thanks, you've ruined it. Now people will know if it changed. And now,
Yeah. They'll see the thing not generating rage, and let's see that line of text. Now that's the Ziggy line of text. I'm developing a reputation now. Just helping finding bugs. It's okay. So, like the shapeshifting stuff comes from this trinket, the talisman?
Yeah, the animal talisman.
And is there any limitation to just kind of like putting that on another class and just say like, I am playing my Mace Marauder or my Quarterstaff Monk, and I want to do a wolf leap slam that marks targets.
You can do it. In fact, it was one of the things initially that it's funny with the audio.
Wait,
things.
so you
Initially,
can
like,
just
we want to record like bear lines for the Druid the whole time, and I'm like, hey guys, remember, anyone can turn into this animal. You're actually going to commit to every single class is going to have like a three.
I didn't realize that. Holy shit!
Every single line the character can deliver.
Maximum effort.
It's like that's a bit tricky. So we ended up going with a voice mod in the end. But that was one of those.
So you can be like a source. Wait,
it almost sounds like, to me, that's what it sounds like. They're like, they're thinking
you could
of
be
something.
like
it would have been completely impossible to record every single line an additional 3 times.
like,
so every
all
character
right, totem
Does everybody come
Druid.
in to roar like a bear?
Exactly. Effectively, every class can be an animal. It's exactly the same as the weapon restriction. Ultimately, being a bear is the same as having a mace, which may sound a little bit odd, but that is actually how it works and what allows having.
Whoa. I didn't even think about that. Wait, so you can use mace skills while in bear?
No. What I meant was that it's the same. I mean, it's the same in the sense that it's just a weapon type, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
damn it, now we have to make that possible.
Well, I mean, you can turn into calm as a bear.
That's unique item territory for the future.
It often gets talked about, like the idea of like, why are things like so weapon locked? And I've always maintained the position that you guys want to kind of do that as much as possible initially, and then in the future you can blur the lines a little bit. Like
that is true.
Maybe in the future you're like, maybe this skill has a way of crossing over.
We can do, but the thing is, a lot of the identity of a weapon type really comes a lot from what it can do, and so that's the main reason why we do it that way. But but the thing is as well with the weapon swapping, so you can still use skills from different elements, different weapons and things
Well,
like that.
the thing is, like, it's funny that you mentioned that with the bear because, like, definitely some of the bears I noticed.
Yeah, I
parallels
guess you'd
between some
probably
of
want to
its
go
skills and some of
werewolf
the
monk,
mace stuff,
right?
and I could
Like
see
that would be
absolutely
insane.
combining like this bear skill that places fishes with the other stuff on the mace that triggers the fishes.
Dude.
Like, there's like very obvious.
Werewolf
like,
monk is gonna look
they're
like
adjacent
this.
classes, right? I mean, you've got like strength versus strength int. Like, we want to be able to make sure that some of those key elements do
Hold
like
on.
cross over, just so that to open up the way to have synergy between the different classes more easily.
Yeah.
Well, as you get more classes and more skills, you obviously get an overlap of the kind of mechanics and keywords and stuff. Iterating,
I don't
and
know
thus
if I
they
can
will
find
always
it quickly.
cross-synergize. And where there still will be new things a class offers, yes, there's always going to be a bunch of stuff that they use
whatever.
that will then interact with all the
Whatever.
other skills.
Yeah, and now you added plants and plants that grow from rain, and there's a plant keyword.
Yeah, I was
that
trying to
has
find a
overgrown as
TikTok.
keyword.
All right,
Like,
chat.
it's
We got to
amazing
swap
actually
over
those
to another
ones
sponsored
because
stream.
they,
If you want to
they're
keep
on
watching
completely
this
opposite
Q&A,
versus
you can head on over to twitch.tv/Path of Exile. I would assume they're going to go for another hour, another 30 minutes. They do a lot of Q&A.
Like, you've got the poison on the dick side.
So,
versus the kind of like just
He
pure
just said
nature,
also on the
like,
dick
physical
side,
damage.
so that's funny. That's, that's pretty funny. Once again, huge shout out to Grinding Gear Games for sponsoring us. We'll also be sponsored next Friday for the launch. So if you want to see some PoE2 action and see everything they just announced and see it all happening before you, join the stream next week. If you're watching on YouTube, it should automatically redirect you to our next sponsored stream. So I'm going to end the stream and we'll see you guys over there in like, I don't know, a minute or that would be great. I think I'm going to use a controller for this.